Okay, this is going to be our part 2 of our linear inequalities, basically where we're going to graph the line and shade like we did today in class, and like you should have watched over the weekend, and like you're doing on your homework tonight, hopefully. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we have some steps for graphing a linear inequality. This goes right along with your notes that you have already. Should be right in front of you. The first thing you want to do is solve for y if necessary. Always want to get y by itself. Yesterday I showed you in a video how to graph using intercepts. You can do that except if the y is negative. If the y is negative, you don't want to do the intercepts because it's going to end up flipping the sign. I don't want to complicate you. Just solve for y, and that'll make it easier for you. Okay. Next, we're obviously going to plot the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, and once you plot the y-intercept, you start from that point, and then you do your rise over run to get another point, and then do your rise over run again to get another point in order to get 3 good points to draw your line. Okay, and then if you have y is less than or equal to, you're going to draw what kind of line? Very good, Jefferson. You're going to draw a solid line. Okay. And it's going to go through the points. And then if you have a less than or equal to or a less than sign, you're going to shade where, Ruby? Below. That is correct. Very good. Okay, what if you have a y is less than sign? How are you going to draw the line? Very good. Lila, it's going to be a dotted or dashed line through the points. And you will shade where? Igracia, you're going to shade above. No, we're still going to shade below. That's right. Very good. Less than is always below. Okay? Okay. What about when we have y is greater than? Kaylee, what do we have there? Greater than or equal to? What kind of line? That's right. It's going to be a solid line. And it's going to go through the points, and then we're going to shade which direction if we have greater than? Very good, Alexis. We're going to shade above now. Okay, now we have y is just greater than. That's all. What kind of line are we going to have? JC, very good. We are going to have a dotted line. Okay, and when we draw that dotted line, we are going to shade y is greater than in which direction, Kira? Above. Very good. Okay. So we also need to remember that we need to flip the inequality when you multiply or divide by a negative number. Okay, so those are some tips. So let's go ahead and put that into play right now. All right, here we go. The first thing we're going to do, our first example, is going to be to graph x plus y is less than 2. Okay, what is our first step? Very good, Savannah. We're going to solve for y, so we're going to subtract x from both sides. This is going to give us y is less than negative x plus 2. Notice I did not flip my sign because I did not multiply or divide by a negative sign. So now we need to go ahead and graph. So what's the first thing I need to graph? Okay, what do I need to identify first? Okay, first thing I need to identify is B. Very good, Mariah. B is what? Okay, that's our y-intercept, which is a positive 2. And then we need to identify our slope, which is what? Very good, Nick Brunick. It's negative 1. And if I change that, the rise over run would be negative 1 over 1. Only one of them must be negative. All right, so let's go ahead and graph our y-intercept at 2. So we're going to go 2 on the y-axis, 1, 2, and we're going to plot our point right there. Okay, and then we're going to go down 1, over 1. That's our rise over run. And we can go up 1 if we wanted to, and then over to the left 1. As long as the line is going in a downward direction, then we know we've gone in the right direction. So now we have 3 good lines. What kind of line do we want to have? Okay, if we just have a less than sign, we're going to have a dashed line. So I'm going to go ahead and put a solid line through here and just not use that one because that one's a bad one. Excuse me. I am just missing. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and put the solid line in there. And that's probably as good as it's going to get. Make sure you draw your arrows. And then because I said it was going to be a dash, I'm going to go ahead and do an erase to make my dash marks. Okay, where do I want to graph it now? Or where do I want to shade now? That's right, Preston, I want to shade it below because it is less than. Since it is less than, which we see right there, we're going to shade below, and I won't cover up the work, but it's going to be everything below the y-intercept. So here we go, shading, 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 shading. It reminds me of this artist that I used to watch when I was a little kid. Really, really old. He's probably dead now. He used to say, happy trees, happy trees, happy trees, when he'd made trees. Anyhow, okay, so we have completed that one. We've shaded, we've graphed it. Everything is good. Okay, and again, remember the solutions are going to be located where? Very good, Preston. They're in the shaded area. Okay, are the solutions going to be on the line in this particular example? That's right, Princeton. They are not going to be on the line. Very good. All right, let's go to our next example. Our next example is negative x minus 2y is greater than or equal to 4. So what's our first step that we're going to do? Very good, JD. We are going to add x to both sides, solve for y. That's going to cancel, leaving me with negative 2y is less than or I'm sorry, is greater than or equal to x plus 4. Now I got to get y by itself, so I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by negative 2. So that's going to leave me with y is, watch the sign flip here, less than or equal to, I flipped the sign because I divided by that negative 2. And that's going to be the same thing as negative 1/2 x minus 2. So there's our inequality that we can go ahead and start graphing. Okay, so as I graph, first thing I need is my y-intercept. What is my y-intercept? Negative 2. Very good, JD. Okay, what is my slope? Negative 1/2. Very good, Nathan. Let's go ahead and graph these. I know I'm moving quickly, but this should be kind of a review from what we did today. If I graph this, I'm going to start at my negative 2 on my y-axis. And then I'm going to go down 1 into the positive 1, 2. Okay, or I could go up 1 into the negative 1, 2. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and draw my line through here. What kind of line am I going to have this time? That's right, because it's equal to, less than or equal to, I'm going to have a solid line. Okay? Trying to stay off the work as much as possible. Now, where am I going to shade this, Hammer? That's right, I'm going to shade it below because it is less than. So here's all my shading below. And of course, I would shade up here as well as long as it was below. Okay? And again, my answers are in my shaded area. This time, can my answers be on the line? Very good, Kirsten. They can be on the line because the line is solid. All right? Let's look at this example. This example is kind of backwards. Now I want to write the inequality that goes with this particular graph. The first thing I want to do is I want to write the equation of a line. The reason I say that is that for those of you who have been following along all year long and been doing well all year long, you'll notice that writing the equation is one of the first things that you learn and should be easy. So let's go ahead and write the equation. We need to identify the y-intercept. So where does the graph cross the y-axis? Yeah, right here at the origin. So our y-intercept is 0. Okay, what's the slope? So from here I'm going to go up 1. I'm going to go up 1, 2. So up 2, which is a positive 2, and over to the right 1. So that's a positive 1. So my slope is rise over run. In this case, my rise was 2 over my run 1. If I reduce that, 2 over 1 is 2. And so now I have y is something 2x plus 0, right? Because remember, we're doing y something mx plus b. The something is the inequality sign that we need to figure out now. So let's start to evaluate our inequality sign. Okay, is our line shaded or, is our line dotted or solid? Okay, it's solid. Very good. So because it's solid, I can put the line underneath there. And now, is it shaded above or below? Very good, Caitlin. It's below. And since it's below, I know that I have a less than sign. So if I clean this up, I end up with y is less than or equal to 2x. And that will be my solution. Okay? Let's move on. Let's look at the next one. Same concept, starting and trying to work with our y equals mx plus b. Okay? First thing I need to find is my slope and my y-intercept. Y-intercept is easy. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My y-intercept is 5. My slope is up 1. I got to find a good point. This looks like a good point. It's hard to see because of the line, but I'm going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down 1, 2, and then over 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, so minus 2, and over 1, 2, 3. So that's negative 3 also. So my slope is going to be negative 2 over negative 3. If I simplify that, that becomes positive 2 over 3, which makes sense because from left to right, my graph is going in the upward direction. So it means it's positive. So now my equation is at least, or my inequality is at least y equals 2/3 x plus 5. Now I have just got to figure out the inequality sign. Okay, so do I have a shaded or a dotted line? Very good, Candace. I have a dotted line. Therefore, I'm not going to have an equal to. I'm just going to have the inequality. Am I shading above or below? Good, Haley. I'm shading above, so that means I'm going to have a greater than sign. Okay, so there is my inequality. Y is greater than, and that's not a very good greater than sign, but y is greater than 2/3 x plus 5. All right. One last example, and then I'm going to cut you loose, and you're done. So Zane is buying peanuts and cashews for a party. He can spend no more, there's our key word right there, no more than $24. No more than $24. That means that this side, everything over here is what he's spending. It cannot go over $24. That means it's got to be less than or equal to $24. Okay? So peanuts, or the X value, are 2 per pound. 2 per means 2 times. And cashews, so he's adding cashews to that order, which are Y, are $3 per pound. So 3Y. So $2 per pound for peanuts, that's this. And so adding that to $3 per pound for cashews, that's that, has to be less than. Okay, so here's our inequality. 2x plus 3y is less than or equal to 24. Didn't really come out very good. Okay, and now it's asking to graph it. Solve for y and graph it. So as I solve for y, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2x from both sides. That's going to leave me with 3y is less than or equal to negative 2x plus 24. Divide everything by 3. And I'm going to come down here. It's going to leave me with y is less than or equal to negative 2/3 x plus 8. Notice the sign did not change because I did not divide by a negative. So let's go ahead and graph this. Start with my y-intercept of being at 8. And then I'm going to go down 2. Now notice you got to pay attention to the scale on the side. So I'm going to go down 2, which are only to be to 6, and then over positive to 3, which is in the middle there. Okay? Do it again, down 2, which is just one line, and over into the middle of another. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and graph. What kind of line am I going to have? Solid, right? Because it's equal to. We go ahead and shade. It's everything that's not above. I got ahead of myself, sorry. Less than means I shade below. That's everything in here. Okay? So then finally, to answer the question, it says which of these is a solution to the inequality? So all I got to do is plot those points. 2, 8, so go over 2 and up to 8. Is that a solution? No, it's outside and not on the line, so that's definitely not a solution. What about 4, 6? Go over 4, up to 6. Nope, that one's also outside. So finally, let's go to 8 and 2. And you can see the 8 and 2 is right on the line. So that is a solution. So that means he can buy 8 bags of peanuts and 2 bags of cashews and still stay under his $24. Not to mention he can buy everything in this little triangle right there as well. But 8 and 2 are the ones that were given to us. And that wraps it up. Hopefully you've got the hang of it between yesterday and today, and we'll do some practice tomorrow.